It has been 3 years since the war, and Newcrest has built a courthouse, library, and prison. Let's take a look before we proceed with the hearings on Cold Phoenix. We have 2 jail cells, a snack room for the jurors, bathroom. Across the hall is the courthouse. I'll try to put up the walls to see if we can get a better view. So we have the court reporter, the judge, the witness, space for the witnesses and the lawyers, the jury. Upstairs we have a library and a children's play area. But now it is time to proceed with the hearings on Cold Phoenix.
Please state your name and residence, then proceed with your testimony.
My name is Bob Pancakes. Current residence is Evergreen Harbor. I didn't sign up for this. At first, it sounded, well, patriotic, a way to help rebuild after the war. But then the experiment started. Crumplebottom. She's not who people think she is. Behind that prim demeanor is a monster. She made us choose loyalty or consequences. And the consequences? Let's just say not everyone who questioned her lived to tell the tale. I tried to warn Eliza, told her to pack up and leave, but she thought I was being paranoid. I'm sorry I couldn't do more.
My name is Mortimer Goth. Current residence Newcrest. The Goth family has always been powerful, but even we were no match for Auntie Agnes's ambitions. She used the war as a cover, manipulating us all like pieces on a chessboard. The nuclear strike? It wasn't just about survival or resources, it was about control. Agnes knew exactly where to strike and when. My family was ruined, and I was forced to work for her just to keep my children alive. She thinks she's untouchable, but this is my checkmate.
My name is Sergeant Lincoln Farrell, currently assigned to the base at Strangerville. I was stationed at the Strangerville base when it all started. At first, it was just rumors, strange shipments, encrypted communications. But then I saw the plans. Crumplebottom wasn't just rebuilding. She was restructuring society from the ground up. The war was just a means to an end. I stayed quiet because I believed in the mission. But when she started targeting civilians, using the bunker system to weed out undesirables, I couldn't be part of it anymore. Crumplebottom thinks she's unstoppable, but she underestimated us. We may have followed her orders once, but we won't stay silent.
My name is Forrest Wood. Current residence Newcrest. I was in the military for 20 years. Fought wars, cast spells, did things I ain't proud of. But Cold Phoenix, that was something else. Crumplebottom brought me in because of my magic. She said it would enhance the operation. Turns out, she wanted me to destroy entire towns, wiped off the map, erased from history. I couldn't do it. I ran, became a hermit. But you don't outrun Crumplebottom. Not for long. If you're watching this, she's probably already hunting me down.
Mrs. Crumplebottom, thank you for appearing before us today. You've been called here to address allegations concerning the Cold Phoenix Initiative and your involvement in actions that have, quite frankly, shaken our nation. Do you understand the gravity of this hearing? If so, you may proceed with your statement.
My name is Agatha Crumplebottom, current residence Henford on Bagley. Ladies and gentlemen of Congress, and the citizens of this great nation, I stand before you today not as a victim, but as a participant in a series of actions that I deeply regret. The Cold Phoenix Initiative began as a project rooted in necessity, a means to ensure our survival in the aftermath of a catastrophic war. But what started as a mission of hope and restoration became something far darker under the leadership of my cousin, Agnes Crumplebottom. I didn't agree with all of her methods. At least, not at first. But I stayed silent. I believed, as so many others did, that the ends justified the means. That belief was a mistake. Lives were lost, families torn apart, and freedom sacrificed, all under the guise of rebuilding. I wasn't coerced. I was complicit. I helped implement policies that prioritized power over people. I distributed resources unfairly, covered up atrocities, and silenced those who dared to question us. One of the hardest decisions I made was approving the destruction of the northern sector of Willow Creek. It was deemed necessary to eliminate a perceived threat. But it wasn't. It was a test, a cruel experiment orchestrated by Agnes to measure the impact of fear on compliance. Those camps were Agnes's idea. But yes, I oversaw their implementation. I told myself it was for the greater good, but deep down, I knew it was wrong. I knew it then and I know it now. I have documents, recordings, and correspondences that will show the full scope of her operations. But I must warn you, Agnes has anticipated this moment. She will not go down without a fight. I will accept whatever punishment you see fit. My silence enabled atrocities, but I will not be silent anymore.
Mrs. Crumplebottom, you stand accused of orchestrating one of the most controversial operations in recent history, the Cold Phoenix Initiative. You've been implicated by multiple witnesses, including your cousin, Agatha Crumplebottom. How do you respond to these allegations?
I respond with the truth, Madam Chairperson. A truth that many here are unwilling to face. The Cold Phoenix Initiative was not a conspiracy or a grab for power. It was a necessary measure to ensure the survival of Simkind in the wake of unprecedented catastrophe. Did mistakes happen? Of course. In situations of such magnitude, mistakes are inevitable. But to suggest that I acted out of malice or self-interest is nothing more than a slanderous attempt to rewrite history. I am categorically denying any claims that we deliberately targeted civilians. The decisions made during Cold Phoenix were tactical, not personal. Every action was weighed against the cost of inaction. If we had hesitated, the collapse would have been total.
What about the destruction of Willow Creek's northern sector? Was that tactical as well?
It was a regrettable, but necessary decision. Intelligence indicated that the sector was harboring insurgent groups planning to undermine our recovery efforts. Those insurgents endangered the lives of millions.
Mrs. Crumplebottom, several defectors, including Mortimer Goth, Lincoln Farrell, Forrest Wood, Bob Pancakes, and Agatha Crumplebottom, have provided evidence suggesting you orchestrated psychological experiments on survivors. How do you respond to that?
Psychological evaluations, not experiments. These were standard measures to assess the mental resilience of our citizens. The war left deep scars, and it was our duty to ensure the stability of our society. And the re-education camps. A gross mischaracterization. Those facilities were centers for reintegration, offering individuals the skills they needed to contribute to the rebuilding process. By force if necessary. When chaos reigns, order must be restored. History will judge us all. Some will look at Cold Phoenix and see tyranny. Others will see salvation. I have no regrets about the choices I made because I know they were the right ones. Those who stand here and condemn me have never had to make the decisions I did. They have the luxury of hindsight and the privilege of ignorance. Let them cast their stones, if it makes them feel righteous. But when the dust settles, it will be my actions that ensured this nation's survival.